this is an institute which is very much about doing things, about coming up with real solutions. That involves a lot of thinking and a lot of creativity, but in the end we want to have something useful, and that is what Jane has promised to do with this effort.
We actually have an opportunity to jumpstart some things pretty quickly.
We're not starting from scratch. There are a lot of good people already doing very progressive efforts out there.
Everybody who's in the Connect room is right here.
It does represent, obviously, collaboration, which is a central part of this effort. And it also reflects, of course, the exploratory nature of a laboratory.
When you think about the revolution that's happening in the web, it's really happening on these things right here.
They're saying that by 2011, a couple of years from now, a third of the world's population will have access to a camera-enabled mobile phone.
The Silicon Valley world's been into for a while, which is fail fast. You want to try something, you want to screw up sometimes, because you know you're going to screw up, so do it quickly instead of doing it after a 2-year effort.
Collaboratory needs to be involved, and Reynolds certainly wants to be involved in helping to test these applications.
You build a half product instead of a half-assed product. You produce something tiny that's awesome instead of something mediocre and bloated.
I kind of want to do what's next.
We're focusing on local communities.
There's a theoretical basis for the hyperlocal news that we're talking about.
There's a lot of high expectations from journalists, and it's just assumed that we know how to communicate.
Watchdog journalism, I think, is what is lacking.
Before, the idea was we go out, we send reporters out, they find good talker stories, and we put them on the front page, and they become water cooler stories, and people go and they talk about them around the water cooler. Well, now, folks start talking about things around the virtual water cooler on Twitter, for example, and it becomes a story because as a function of the fact that people are talking about it.
They're not going to come to you. You have to go to them.
There's a lot of people who don't care about citizen participation. They just want the news.
I knew when I read the New York Times who to yell at, right? I don't know anymore. I don't know what's true, what's not.
Who defines what is truth?
In truth, everybody sleeps somewhere, and that basic of security, food, clothing, and shelter that Maslow set out for us, that he identified as how we move up the hierarchy, that's exactly suited for hyperlocal sites.
Anytime you've said, well, people need this. Okay, so if they need something, there's a business there, so what is it?